The air smelled like burning metal. On the dry plains of planet Azera 9, smoke rose from broken ships, both human and alien. Commander Ryan Hale, a battle-hardened soldier with sharp eyes and a calm face, stepped through the ruins slowly. The war had started only 7 days ago, but it already felt like the end of the world. No one saw it coming. 3 months ago, humans and the Talari people had a peace treaty. They were trading supplies, helping build cities, even laughing together. But something changed. A human ship exploded near Talari space. Both sides blamed each other. And just like that, peace turned to fire. Ryan was part of a special unit sent to take control of a captured human outpost. They thought it would be easy. The Talari didn't use machines the same way humans did. But today proved they were wrong. Explosions echoed as Ryan crouched behind a piece of broken wall. He gave a quick hand signal to the 3 soldiers. Behind him, silence, only the sound of wind and crackling fire. He moved forward. Then he saw her. A tall figure in silver armor stood in the middle of the ashes. Her helmet had fallen, revealing glowing purple eyes and white war paint across her cheeks. She looked like a ghost from another world. Her breathing was heavy, and a strange blade was clenched in her hand. One of her arms bled through the cracked armor. Ryan raised his weapon slowly, but the alien didn't move. She dropped her sword. Then she dropped to her knees. "Don't kill me, human," she said in broken English, her voice shaking. "I'll warm your bed. Just don't kill me." Ryan froze. He lowered his weapon slightly. The other soldiers behind him whispered in confusion. Was this a trick, or was she serious? But her eyes, they weren't lying. "Who are you?" Ryan asked, voice steady. "Kalya," she replied. "Warrior of the Talari Moon Guard, but no more. They left me. They called me weak." She looked away as if ashamed. Ryan looked around. He saw the bodies, both human and Talari, sprawled across the battlefield. This wasn't a place for lies. Whatever had brought this warrior to her knees, it wasn't fake. He slowly stepped forward and pointed his rifle to the side. "Get up. You won't kill me?" she asked, surprised. "Not today," he said. "But if you're lying—" "I'm not," she whispered. "I have nowhere else to go." The silence between them was heavy. Suddenly, a loud noise burst. Behind them, a hidden drone. Ryan turned fast and fired. One shot. The drone fell in flames. Kalya didn't run. She just stared at him, eyes wide. "You saved me," she said, her voice barely a breath. Ryan sighed and looked down at her again. "Don't make me regret it." As the sun dipped behind the red clouds of Azera 9, the human soldier and the alien warrior stood side by side. Not as enemies, not yet as friends. But something had changed, something unexpected. And far away, someone was watching their meeting through a hidden camera. A voice in the shadows whispered, "It has begun." Ryan walked through the dusty metal corridor of Base 9, the emergency shelter for human soldiers on Azera 9. The doors hissed open behind him. 2 guards followed, their rifles pointed at Kalya, the alien warrior who now walked with her head low, hands tied behind her back. She didn't fight. She didn't speak. She didn't look afraid. But Ryan could see something deeper in her. It wasn't weakness. It was something else. Maybe a secret. Maybe pain. "Put her in cell 3, Ryan ordered. The guards nodded and took Kalya to the right. She walked quietly, her boots echoing on the steel floor. Ryan didn't look back, but he felt her eyes on him until the door closed with a cold clang. Back in the command room, Captain Jenna Cross waited. Her arms were crossed, and her face was full of questions. "You brought a Talari warrior here?" she asked sharply. "She surrendered," Ryan said. "And offered to warm your bed?" Jenna raised an eyebrow. Ryan's single quotes S jaw tightened. "She's not a threat. She's Talari." They killed Lieutenant Vasquez yesterday. How do you know she didn't lead you into a trap? Ryan thought about it. That moment when she dropped her sword. Her voice trembling. Her eyes filled with something. Real, because she had a chance to kill me, Ryan replied. But she didn't, and when the drone attacked, she didn't run. Jenna looked at him for a long moment, then sighed. Fine. She stays alive. For now, but the higher command will want answers. They always did. Kalya sat alone in the cold metal cell. No weapons, no armor, just her wounded arm and quiet breath. The human food tasted like dust. The lights above were too bright, but she didn't complain. She didn't beg. She waited. When Ryan entered the room, she looked up. No fear in her face. You didn't kill me, she said softly. Why? He sat across from her, not answering right away. Then he said, because I've seen what real enemies look like, and you didn't look like one. Kalya nodded slowly. My people left me. They said I disobeyed orders. Did you? Ryan asked. She hesitated. Then said, I spared a human child. The boy was crying, alone. He reminded me of my brother. I couldn't do it. Ryan leaned forward. So they called you a traitor? Yes, Kalya whispered. And then they left me to die. For a moment, the silence between them felt almost holy. Do you want revenge? Ryan asked. She looked at him sharply. No, I want purpose. Outside the cell, 2 soldiers watched the camera feed. He's getting too close, one said. Should we report it? Not yet. Let's see how far this goes. 3 days passed. Kalya was still locked up. But Ryan visited often. They talked. About the war. About their homes. About the strange blue moons of Talari space. And the green oceans of Earth. Something was changing between them. It wasn't love. Not yet. But it was something dangerous. On the 4th day, an alarm blared through the base. Enemy breach on the east wall. Someone shouted. Gunshots echoed down the halls. Ryan grabbed his rifle and ran toward the noise. Then he stopped. He turned back toward Kalya's cell. Without thinking, he opened the door. You said you weren't a threat, Ryan said, handing her a stun baton. Time to prove it. Kalya stared at the weapon. Then she grabbed it. I won't betray you, she said. Eyes locked with his. They ran together into the fire, but someone was watching them again. Deep underground. In a secret Talari command chamber, a dark figure stared at the screen showing Ryan and Kalya fighting side by side. So the human took the bait. The figure said coldly, begin phase 2. The eastern wall of Base 9 shook under the impact. Fire burst through the cracks, and smoke filled the hallways. Ryan shouted commands, moving quickly through the chaos. Soldiers ran in every direction. Alarms screamed from every speaker. The base was under full attack, and right beside him was Kalya. She moved like a shadow, fast, sharp, silent. Her long legs sprinted across broken floor panels, and the stun baton in her hand crackled with blue energy. The other human soldiers looked confused, even angry, but Ryan had given the order, she's with me. They didn't question it, not yet. Behind the south turret wall, a wounded engineer screamed for help. Ryan ran toward him, but 2 Talari drones floated down from the ceiling. Laser beams lit the air. Kalya didn't wait. She jumped forward and struck both drones in one clean move. Sparks flew. The machines fell. The engineer looked up, blood on his face, and whispered, she saved me. Ryan helped him up. She's not like the others, he said. But even he wasn't sure if he believed that completely. In the command room, Captain Jenna Cross stood frozen, eyes on the screen. She watched Kalya fight next to Ryan. Watched her defend their own people. A young officer beside her shook his head. Sir, this doesn't feel right. I know. Jenna said. Then her eyes narrowed. A door camera showed someone moving inside the base alone near the power core. It was Officer Brand, one of their own tech staff. But his face was too calm, too focused. And he was carrying explosives. Wait. Zoom in, Jenna ordered. The feed sharpened. That's not ours, she whispered. That's Talari tech. At the same time, deep in the lower levels, Kalya paused. Her glowing eyes flickered. She turned her head, as if sensing something wrong. What is it? Ryan asked. She looked toward the far tunnel. Your people are in danger, she said. There's a traitor. What? I can feel the device, she whispered. They use it to call the hive. If he activates it, your whole base will fall in minutes. Ryan stared at her. You expect me to believe you? She looked at him with pain in her voice. If I wanted this place destroyed, I would have let it happen days ago. His heart pounded. He made a decision. Follow me. They ran through the smoke, down the narrow stairwells, into the belly of the base. Emergency lights flashed red. Pipes hissed. The floor shook under their feet. In the distance, they saw him. Officer Brand stood near the fusion chamber, tapping commands into a Talari device strapped to his wrist. He didn't see them yet. Ryan raised his gun, but Kalya held his arm. He's using a signal scrambler, she said. If you shoot and miss, the explosion will wipe out half your base. Then what do we do? Kalya stepped forward. Alone. She walked slowly, calmly. Brand, she said. I know who you are. The traitor turned. His eyes widened when he saw her. You're alive? He said. You were supposed to die outside. That was the deal. I broke it, Kalya said, voice low. Just like you broke your people's trust. He pointed a weapon at her. Don't come closer. Go ahead, she said. Shoot me. But this human base is full of soldiers, full of cameras. You won't make it out. He hesitated. In that moment, Ryan fired. The shot hit the device on Brand's wrist. Sparks flew. The signal stopped. Brand screamed and fell to the ground. Back in the control room, Jenna saw the alert. Threat neutralized. She sat down, breathing hard, and whispered, maybe she's not the enemy after all. That night, the base was quiet again. Kalya sat in the hallway outside the medical bay. Her arms were wrapped in bandages, but her eyes stayed sharp. Ryan sat next to her. You saved us, he said. She didn't answer. But I have to ask, why? Kalya turned her head slowly. Her voice was soft but strong. Because for the first time, someone didn't see me as a tool or a killer. You saw me as something else. What do you want now? Ryan asked. She looked at the stars through the window. I don't know, but I want to find out. Far above, in Talari Command, the dark figure watched the failure on the screen. Brand was gone. The device destroyed. The figure whispered, They're growing close, too close. Then pressed a button. Send the assassin. The wind outside Base 9 howled louder than usual. Thick gray clouds rolled across the sky of Azera 9, hiding the stars. Inside the base, the power lights flickered once, then came back. No one thought much of it, but Kalya knew. She stood still in the hallway, her hand pressed gently to the wall. Her glowing eyes narrowed. Something was coming. Something dangerous. In the command room, Captain Jenna reviewed the report on Officer Brand's betrayal. She read it twice. The evidence was clear. He was working with the Talari Command. He was their spy, but what she didn't understand was Kalya's part in stopping him. Jenna turned toward Ryan. Do you trust her? Ryan looked tired, but sure. More than I trust most of the people in this room, Jenna sighed. I don't know if that's brave or stupid. Just then, a sharp beep rang out. An alert. We've got movement on the South Ridge, said the surveillance officer. Single signature, not Talari tech, something new. Jenna leaned in. Put it on screen. The image came through blurry, Dark, but clear enough to see a shadow. Tall, thin, moving fast across the rocks, like a ghost slipping through cracks. Kalya stepped into the room, eyes wide. "Get everyone inside," she said. "Now, what is it?" Ryan asked. Her voice shook. "They've sent her." Outside the base, a single figure walked through the dust storm. Her armor was black as oil, her eyes glowed white. No weapon in her hands because she didn't need one. Her body was the weapon. She was called Vethra. In Talari, that meant silent death. She never spoke. She never failed. Kalya paced back and forth in the holding room, her nerves tight. "Vethra is not like the others," she said to Ryan. "She doesn't follow orders. She finishes targets. Always. Once she's sent, there is no return." "Then we stop her," Ryan said. Kalya shook her head. "You don't stop Vethra, you survive her." Suddenly, the lights went out. The base went dark. Then red backup lights blinked on. Sirens howled. Gunfire echoed from the west corridor. "She's in," Ryan said. "How?" Jenna shouted. "The perimeter was secure." "She doesn't use doors," Kalya whispered. "She goes through shadows." One by one, cameras across the base shut off. Soldiers vanished from screens. Each death was quick, silent, clean. Ryan grabbed his rifle. "We need to lock the command room." "No," Kalya said. "That won't stop her. You'll just trap yourselves. Then what do we do?" "We hunt her before she hunts us." Ryan looked into Kalya's glowing eyes. "Together?" She nodded once. Together, they moved through the halls slowly. Weapons ready, heartbeats racing. Red emergency lights lit their faces in flashes. The silence was too loud. Then Ryan stopped. He pointed to the wall. "Scratches. 3 long cuts through metal. Not bullets. Not blades. Claws. She's close." Kalya whispered. Just then, a soldier screamed from down the hall. They ran, but by the time they reached him, he was already gone. Only his weapon remained, still warm. Then Kalya froze. She turned slowly. "She's behind us." Ryan spun. Nothing. Then boom. The wall beside them exploded. A black figure flew through the smoke and tackled Ryan. He hit the floor hard. Weapon knocked away. Vethra stood over him. She moved fast, too fast. But before she could strike, Kalya slammed into her with a roar. They both tumbled across the hallway. It was warrior versus assassin. Claw against blade. Each strike was deadly. Each block perfect. But Vethra was faster, colder. She moved like ice. "Go!" Kalya shouted to Ryan. "Get to the power core. She wants the reactor." But Ryan didn't move. He aimed and fired, but Vethra flipped away, vanishing into smoke again. Kalya was bleeding. Her arm hung useless. "She's too strong," she said, gasping. "We don't have a choice." Ryan replied, "We fight or we die." Kalya looked up, face pale, breathing hard. "Then let's die standing." Far away, in Talari Command, the screen flickered. Someone whispered, "Phase 3 has begun." And in the shadows of Base 9, Vethra crouched on a ceiling beam, watching them both. Smiling. The silence after the battle felt wrong. Blood dripped from Kalya's shoulder. Her breaths were sharp. Ryan stood beside her, eyes scanning the ceiling, the corners, the walls. But Vethra was gone again like smoke. "She's not done, Kalya." "She's circling." Ryan looked at her. "You can still fight?" She nodded slowly. "Pain reminds me I'm alive." He gave her a half smile. "Let's stay alive a little longer." Then the alarm sounded again, this time different, a deep warning tone. Something serious, reactor security breach. They both froze. "She's heading for the core," Ryan said. "Then we run." Kalya replied. And they did. The reactor chamber of Base 9 was the heart of everything. Thick walls, glowing pipes, humming energy. A giant cylinder stood at the center. blue lights pulsing like a heartbeat. When they arrived, it was already too late. Vetra stood at the core. She had her claws deep inside the control panel. The screen flashed red. Countdown initiated. 5 minutes. Turned slowly, her eyes still glowing white. Her voice cold and quiet. Your time ends here. Ryan raised his rifle. Vetra was faster. In one move, she slashed the gun in half and kicked him back into a steel beam. He collapsed, groaning. Kalya stood between them. No weapons. Just her. Don't do this, Kalya said. Vetra tilted her head. You failed your people. Now you fail him. He's not my enemy. He's not your kind. Neither are you, Kalya said. Vtra lunged. Kalya dodged. Barely. They fought again, this time faster. Blood on the floor. Sparks from the walls. Vetra was winning. Then Vetra grabbed Kalya's throat, lifted her into the air. You betrayed your bloodline, Vetra said. Kalya gasped. Maybe, she whispered. But I found something better. And with that, she slammed her elbow into a loose panel on the wall hard. A shock pulse burst out. Both women were thrown back. Smoke rose. Kalya coughed, crawling toward Ryan. You okay? She whispered. He nodded weakly. The countdown still ticked. Minutes. They didn't have time. Can you stop it? Ryan asked. Kalya didn't answer. Instead, she slowly reached into her belt, pulled out a small metal chip. What's that? Ryan asked. A control key, she said. It's Talari tech. It can override the reactor. You had it this whole time? Yes. Why didn't you use it? Kalya looked into his eyes. Because using it will kill me. Ryan's face froze. What? The chip is locked to my blood. Once I use it, it drains my core energy. It's a failsafe. I was supposed to die with it if I ever turned. He shook his head. There has to be another way. There isn't. Vetra was still moving in the smoke, crawling toward them, barely alive. But not done. 1 minute. Kalya smiled sadly. I was trained to destroy, she said. But maybe my last act can be something else. She leaned closer. Tell your people I wasn't a monster. Then she placed the chip into the reactor core. A white light exploded through the chamber. Vetra screamed. Her body turned to ash. The countdown stopped. Override complete. Reactor secure. But Kalya collapsed. Her body hit the ground softly, like a falling leaf. Ryan crawled to her side. Her eyes were dim now, glowing but fading. You didn't have to do this, he whispered. Yes, I did, she said. I wanted you to live. His voice broke. You saved us all. She smiled faintly. Then I did something good. Her hand fell from his, and her eyes closed. The room was silent again, but it wasn't over. Not yet, because far above Azera 9, a new signal had just been sent, and someone in Talari High Command said, Plan failed. Activate the last protocol. They buried her under the twin moons of Ys Era-9. No speeches. No flags. Just silence. Just pain. Commander Ryan Hale stood alone at the grave site. A simple stone marked the spot. Her name wasn't written in English or Talari, just a symbol she had drawn in the dirt one day, meaning hope. He remembered the way she smiled that night. Tired but peaceful. Now she was gone. Or so he thought. Inside Base 9, the power had returned. Systems were stable, the reactor secure. The enemy, Assassin-VTHR, destroyed. Captain Jenna Cross walked slowly into the medical wing. Ryan stood near the glass, staring at an empty bed. You okay? She asked. He didn't answer. She stepped beside him. I just got a report from Deep Space Command. We picked up a coded Talari signal. Ryan looked at her finally. They're not done, are they? No, she said. A dreadship entered orbit 30 minutes ago. Cloaked. So that's it, Ryan whispered. They're sending the final wave. Jenna nodded. They want revenge. He closed his eyes. For what? For peace? She didn't respond. In a hidden lab beneath Base 9. Two doctors whispered over a glowing chamber. One of them pressed a hand against the glass. Inside floated Kalya. Alive. Barely. Her body was still, her eyes closed, but her cells glowed faintly. The reactor override chip had triggered a death pulse, but her Talari DNA was changing, healing, resisting. One doctor turned to the other. We didn't expect this. It's not just healing, the second said. It's evolving. That night, Ryan couldn't sleep. He walked the halls, hands in his pockets, memories crashing through his mind. Her voice, her eyes, the way she reached for him before placing the chip. Then a voice behind him. Soft. Weak. Familiar. Is it night? He froze. Turned around. And saw her. Kalya. Standing. Barefoot. Tired. But alive. He started, but couldn't finish. She smiled faintly. Not dead. He rushed to her. Held her. Tight. You gave everything, he whispered. And I came back with more, she said, laying her hand over her chest. I feel different. Like something inside me unlocked. What do you mean? I can feel things, sense things. Like a wave is coming. In orbit, the Talari dreadship activated its main weapon. Inside, a high priest stood before a large screen, showing Ryan's base. Destroy the traitor, he ordered. And all who stand with her. But the ship's sensors blinked. A new signal was rising from the surface. Not human. Not Talar. Something else. Something powerful. In the command room, Kalya stood beside Ryan and Captain Jenna. Her eyes glowed brighter than ever before. Silver now, not purple. They're here, she said. But they're not ready for what I've become. Jenna frowned. What are you? Kalya took a deep breath. A mistake reborn. And then, the sky outside turned red. The dreadship began its attack. But this time, Kalya stepped forward, not as a prisoner, not as a warrior, but as something new. Something more. Open the roof, she said. Are you sure? Ryan asked. She nodded. They sent me to destroy you. But now I am the shield. The roof opened. Wind rushed in. Kalya rose slowly into the air, her body glowing like a star, and from the dreadship, fear began to spread. The final battle was no longer between humans and Talar. It was between the past and the future, between old hate and new hope. And Kalya was no longer on her knees. She was flying. Kalya rose into the storm-lit sky like a glowing blade. Light swirled around her body. Her skin shimmered with silver marks, lines of energy pulsing like veins of fire. She was no longer just Talari. And she wasn't human. She was something between, something beyond. Below, Ryan watched in silence. He had never believed in gods. But in that moment, he almost did. The dreadship above Azera 9 moved into full attack position. Cannons glowed. Missiles locked. Sensors scanned the glowing figure rising from the surface. Inside the command chamber, the Talari high priest snarled. What is that? An officer stammered. We don't know. She's not reading as Talari anymore, or human. The priest stepped closer to the screen. No matter. She dies with them. He raised his hand. Fire. Missiles screamed through the air. 10 of them. Fast. Bright. Deadly. Kalya didn't flinch. She lifted her hands. And for a split second, the world froze. Then, a burst of pure energy exploded from her body. It wasn't fire. It wasn't ice. It was willpower. The missile stopped mid-air. Then turned. And flew back toward the dreadship. 3 seconds later, the sky exploded. Flames, metal, and silence. In the control room, Captain Jenna gasped. The soldiers cheered. But Ryan just stood at the window, eyes wide. Kalya floated down slowly, landing gently on the rooftop. She looked exhausted. Sweat on her face. Arms shaking. Ryan ran to her and caught her before she fell. "You did it," he whispered. "Not yet," she said. "There's more?" She nodded. "They're still watching. The council. The ones who ordered my death. They'll come. Unless we show them something stronger than force." "What?" She looked into his eyes. Forgiveness. An hour later, a small Talari cruiser landed outside Base 9. It carried no weapons, just 5 leaders in long black robes. The high priest among them. Kalya stood in front of the base. Alone. No armor. No weapons. Just truth. "You were sent to destroy the humans," the high priest said. "You failed." Kalya stepped forward. "No, I succeeded." They looked confused. She continued. "I learned their hearts. I felt their pain. And I saw my own people's fear. You call it failure. I call it awakening." The priest hissed. "You betrayed your race." Kalya shook her head. "No. I gave it a future." She turned to the humans behind her. "This is Ryan. He spared me when he didn't have to. He believed in me when I couldn't believe in myself. If he is the enemy, then I choose the enemy." The council fell silent. Then the youngest one stepped forward. A woman. Soft eyes. Strong voice. "And if we offer peace?" Kalya looked back at Ryan. He nodded. She turned again. "Then I offer everything I am," the high priest growled. "You are no longer Talari." Kalya looked down at her hands. Then raised them high. A flash of silver light glowed from her palms. "Then make a new name," she said, "for what comes next." 2 weeks later, the war was over. A new treaty was signed. Not with lies. Not with fear. But with real names, real voices, real understanding. Kalya now lived in the space between both worlds. She became the bridge, teaching, guiding, protecting. She wore no uniform. She needed none. One quiet night, Ryan sat on the edge of a quiet cliff, watching the twin moons rise. Footsteps behind him. He didn't turn. He smiled. "You still walk like a ghost." Kalya sat beside him. "And you still smell like metal," she teased. They sat in silence for a while. Then Ryan asked softly, "Do you ever regret it? Not killing me that day?" She looked at him. "I think," she said slowly, "that day you saved me first." His heart softened. "Do you still want to warm my bed?" He joked, voice quiet. She smiled gently. "No," she said. "I want to warm your life." And they sat there, under the stars, human and alien. Not as enemies, not as strangers. But as the first of something new. Together.